I'm gonna do something I haven't done yet. This is the first like official doing of it. Exclusive, can I say that? So basically, I've written a novel and it's being published in June. It's called No Place to Call Home, and it's a little bit about the diaspora Congolese community and how the experience or reality of coming over as a refugee to the UK and settling, but also this whole kind of idea of home and where is home? Do you know what I mean? Where do you belong, fitting in and so on? And we know, especially as diaspora Africans, we're not like this is not even not we're not really like this isn't our home. You know what I mean? No matter how much you try and assimilate, no matter how much you try and blend in, change your names, everything. At some point or another, you'll be reminded that you're not from here, right? And so the reality comes crashing back to us, like where do you call home? And so I wrote this novel trying to capture that experience. And I know there's a novel called The Lonely Londoners by Samuel, some of you might remember, Samuel Sevlon. And it captures that kind of Windrush generation diaspora experience of coming here and then seeing the reality, you know. So I'm going to do a reading of that, if you guys will allow me.
Exclusive.
Yeah. I haven't read it before, so I hope you appreciate it. I'm going to read two parts, right? So just to give you a bit of a backdrop, the story focuses on a family, and it goes from telling their current setting in London, in the UK. There's the parents, Mami and Papa, who are the main characters, and there's also the children. And the children are they have no idea about their history, and they're trying to learn about themselves, learn about their situation, and so on and so on. But the parents who've experienced the political reality of what they've gone through back home are essentially trying to hide that part and trying to normalise their children's experience. You know, sometimes when we get older, especially as children, you get older and you think, well, Mum, Dad, why didn't you tell me this? Why didn't you tell me this? It's not that they didn't want you to know, it's that the reality of it, the trauma of it was so harsh that it's a difficult conversation to have, you know. So I'm going to read two parts from it. This part is when the parents, Mami and Papa, are in Kinshasa, and it just kind of talks about a little bit about their family. Kinshasa was a thriving city. The two-lane streets were filled with imported cars, only driven by the Belgians and the affluent Congolese men, with their wives or mistresses as passengers, who showed their wealth dressed in smart suits with short-sleeved arms, neck scarves, with matching pocket squares and weighted gold or silver watches hung at the end of their wrists like a burden of sacrifice. The women who were mostly held to managing household duties or worked, very few and far in between, in positions of hospitality or servitude, wore beautiful, bright-coloured printed clothes, a liputa they would tie around their waists, and a kitambala, usually made of silk, which they would fold at the corners and tie to cover their heads. Kinshasa was not a city you came from. It was a city you came to, for work, for business, for travel. But once you came, it kept you, so you would never leave. Maybe it was whatever was in the air, the Malay of languages, the formality of French, the official tongue, spoken in public spaces, the institutions, the schools, universities and offices, airport lounges and government buildings, or the Lingala, which ran like a sweeping undercurrent through the roads with its bent-back rhythm, stood on the street corners or back alleyways on the tongues of lovers after the sunset when the music would play. Mami came from a very strict family, in a society where women were afforded very little privileges, unlike the men she was held to impossibly high standards, which meant there was very little she could do, never mind what she could do wrong. They lived in a large house with black metallic gates in Gombe. Her father, Kukwea Mobali, was a military man, whose position Mami was never quite sure of. He was important enough to have intricately designed multi-point badges of honor hung on the lapels of his khaki green uniform, and have someone he could tell what to do and run around after him, but not too important that he himself could not be told what to do. Her mother, Kukuya Mwasi, took care of house and home, raising the children, which was seen as the duty bestowed upon her by divine right of her gender. She was a quiet woman and never spoke louder than her husband, never walked ahead of her husband, never loved another man but her husband. Each day she wore the most beautiful liputa. Whether she was shopping at the Zandu or in Sunday Mass, she looked elegant and graceful, as was expected of her. She had so much more than other women, she did not dare challenge it, for if she did, it meant risking losing all she had received. Mummy had 4 sisters, 2 on each side, older and younger, Marthe, Monique, Micheline and Marie. She carried them through their ups and downs as if she was their balancing scale. She was the mediator, the peacekeeper between the 2 warring clans of the older 2 sisters and the younger 2. More often than what she would have chosen to, she was the voice of reason. At times she looked the oldest, not due to her appearance but her sense of style and dress. She emulated her mother, fitting comfortably into her mother's clothes, wishing for the life she has, a life of quiet abundance. Gokoya Mubali felt disappointed when he found out their first child would be a girl. He believed a man's firstborn, as did many others, must be a boy to continue his legacy. 5 daughters later, the disappointment turned to damnation, then eventually acceptance as the sight of his legacy faded away. He felt he must be carrying some kind of eternal curse from Eganga. After Mummy was born, he treated the youngest 2 who came after, Monique and Micheline, as if they were boys. A sign he had abandoned hope by having any boys. They too would follow in his footsteps. Nonetheless, he never let his daughters know exactly how he felt. He loved them dearly, the best way he knew how a father could, overprotective with authority and from a distance. And as quiet as submissive as Skokuyamosi was, her smile widened with each daughter she gave birth to. Knowing she could never challenge or overcome the power of this man who she loved as her husband, giving him 5 daughters was her quiet act of rebellion.